breaking news from KXAN News.
Breaking news overnight, a body found in East Austin. Good morning, I'm Erica Brennis.
I'm Sally. If not this, we know Austin police investigators have cleared the scene this morning, but we also know the body was in the John Trevino Jr. Metro Park. This is a city-owned land that is working to develop off of FM 969 east of Decker Lane. Around 10 o'clock last night, Austin police got a call saying that a body was found along the wood line of the park. Detectives are currently conducting a death investigation. Police did not say how this person died, and they're trying to figure out if it is suspicious or not.
First warning weather with meteorologist Sean Kelly.
Hey, good Tuesday morning, everyone. Pretty similar to yesterday morning as we are waking up to a little bit of rain out in the hill country. Unfortunately, missing out here in Austin, but we've got some steady, moderate rain in Mason. A few lightning strikes there as well with a weakening thunderstorm. We've got some light rain in San Saba County, Llano County seeing some light rain as well. Portions of San Saba County actually seeing nearly an inch of rain over the past 48 hours. So some beneficial rain for them, trying to work its way into Gillespie County. I think it does. I think it does get as far east as Fredericksburg, but I think from Lampasas down through Vernon, I think this is kind of the cutoff zone. Anything east of here, it doesn't reach us, and we just get ready for another hot day today, but a few degrees cooler than yesterday. As we kick off your morning out in the hill country, it's a little bit cooler up in Richland Springs into the 60s, but because of the clouds overnight, we're still very warm. 80 degrees for much of the area, including Round Rock, 81 in Pflugerville, 82 in Taylor. So it's a warm and muggy start. 78 in Giddings, 75 in Muldoon. If you're heading out on the trail at any point today, we've got some nice conditions for that. Remember, today a few degrees cooler than yesterday. We'll have to watch out for a few spot showers that we could see once again later on in the afternoon and evening. I think that chance it will be mainly north and west once again. From here on out, these temperatures here are all below 100 degrees, and in fact it gets down eventually by the weekend into the lower 90s. But we've got some increasing rain chances. We'll talk about that, the update that we have for you on the tropics, and how much rain we could see over the course of the next 7 days coming up in First Warning Weather.
Sean, thank you. A suspect is now in custody after a SWAT situation in Round Rock overnight. Police responding to the Wingate Hotel near Palm Valley Boulevard and I-35 around 8 o'clock.
Round Rock police say a possibly armed person refused to leave the hotel. They got them out around 11:30 without any issues. A fire scare inside a 30-story high-rise in downtown Austin. Video from the street level shows smoke filling some of the 3rd Street area between Colorado and Congress. It happened around 7 last night inside the Colorado Tower. This video was taken by KXAN viewer Gracie Coates.
And according to the Colorado Tower's management team, it was inside of the restaurant Red Ash. The restaurant was evacuated and people on other floors were also evacuated. Management at Colorado Tower says that there were no injuries or damage to the building.
It says all offices will be open today. We are still waiting to find out exactly what caused it.
The impeachment trial of suspended Attorney General Ken Paxton continues this morning, with Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick saying attorneys should finish presenting the case by Thursday, and we could get a verdict as soon as this week.
The focus yesterday, allegations of an extramarital affair, with new testimony from the whistleblowers who brought Ken Paxton to the FBI. KXAN's Ryan Chandler recaps what you missed.
We were the only ones that could stop it.
Ken Paxton's former director of criminal justice, Mark Penley, detailing repeated warnings he gave his boss after he says Paxton used his power to disrupt a federal investigation as a favor to his campaign donor, Nate Paul.
I also told him there was great risk to him. This could look like bribery. This could turn into a criminal charge against him. I told him this could turn into a media scandal if it got out.
The concerns stem from a U.S. attorney's investigation into Nate Paul's alleged financial crimes. Paxton hired an outside attorney to handle Paul's case against the objections of his advisors. Defense arguing whistleblowers went to the FBI without evidence.
Did you bring any documentary evidence or physical evidence to the FBI?
No documents, no physical evidence.
If you had any documentary evidence of a crime by Ken Paxton, you would have brought it to the FBI, yes?
No.
No, you wouldn't have?
No, this was an initial report by eyewitnesses.
Later, Paxton's chief of staff with private details into Paxton's affair.
He confirmed that he, in fact, was having an extramarital affair. Yes.
Carrie arguing the affair wasn't just a private matter, but could harm the public.
These things can open one up to bribery, misuse of office.
Paxton's wife, State Senator Angela Paxton, listening intently in the jury as Carrie remembers when she urged Paxton to come clean.
My heart broke for her.
Ryan Chandler, KXAN News.
Paxton, again, was not at the proceedings yesterday, and he is not required to be there. Today, Travis County Commissioners are talking about an update to the county's paid parental leave policy, and we expect to learn more about the costs, feedback from employees, and options for future expansion. And that's today at noon.
A pecan tree in Barton Springs is going to get to stay a little longer. So we told you yesterday morning about the upcoming removal of Flo. It was set to be removed because of a fungus that's weakening the roots. But now Austin Parks and Recreation has decided to delay the removal. The department is saying it's reviewing additional considerations before it is removed.
The video from one woman leading to her formal complaint against North Texas police after officers kicked in the wrong door.
A community that makes their living off the land is upset. Why? It says a nearby company could leave them with less water.
Good morning, everyone. This is a live look at the Circuit of the Americas camera that we have out there on this Tuesday, September the 12th. Thanks for joining us. A North Texas woman just filed a complaint against police for mistakenly kicking in her door, and she has the video to prove it. The woman, who lives in Red Oak near Dallas, says officers responded to a domestic call over the Labor Day weekend. Her Ring video captured what she says is someone knocking on her door and covering the camera over Labor Day weekend. She says by the time she got out of bed, the video then shows what appears to be an officer run and kick in the front door. She doesn't want her identity shown for fear of her safety, but this is what she says happened when she got to her door.
They quickly told me, okay, it's fine, we have the wrong apartment, you can go back in, please. And I realized at that time that my door was actually broken, or the locks on it was broken, so it was hard for me to even close it back. It was just super scary. I do understand that, you know, they were trying to protect the woman who was screaming across the way, but it just seemed to be very low regard for protocol and other people's safety who were not involved.
Red Oak police says they are currently reviewing the incident. The woman filed a formal complaint claiming no one announced themselves at her door and that the officer covered the Ring camera.
Why the Public Safety Commission wants Austin City Council to review event staffing as Austin continues to attract big events and our police department continues to shrink.
An update on Harmony Public Schools and the teacher retention rate that they're achieving with an incentive program through the state.
Time to turn the page for the Longhorns as they are coming off the win over Alabama, and now it's set for the Cowboys from Wyoming. I've got more on that coming up.
Good morning at 4:44. Hope your Tuesday is off to a good start as we look live. Cool down headed our way finally as we look live over the Circuit of the Americas. And you know what? We are now less than 1 month away from the ACL Music Festival.
Yeah, the Public Safety Commission now wants City Council to review event staffing. KXAN's Brianna Hollis looks at how it hopes to take the strain off of first responders while still keeping everyone safe.
From South by Southwest to Formula One to ACL and everything in between.
All different sizes of events, they all play such a huge impact into our community and our culture, and certainly one of the reasons folks come to visit Austin.
In just a few weeks, Zilker Park will transform from its typical sports and dog-friendly hangout spot into the home of the iconic ACL Music Festival. So far this year, the city has hosted more than 1,000 special events. That's 200 more than last year and about 350 more than 2019.
We're already exceeding 2022 and we're still going.
Great for tourism, but a current challenge for APD. 15% of the department's overtime hours are spent on special events. But special event pay is only time and a half, while OT for things like patrol or jail shifts is double pay.
There's a lot of overtime out there for officers to work, so it's hard to get them to sign up for special events.
APD relies on outside agencies as well as unsworn positions to staff events because they're currently down 1,700 special event positions.
Reduce the amount of hours that our sworn staff has to be at events to help with the staffing of these events and make sure that they continue to be safe.
Commissioners voted to ask City Council to look further into funding and procedures for special event staffing so events can continue to keep Austin weird.
It's great to see folks from, the other side of the world coming into town to experience our city.
Brianna Hollis, KXAN News.
APD currently has 13 retirees in training as reserve officers. Those officers will primarily work special events to help alleviate staffing shortages.
Now, going in depth, the KXAN investigation uncovered APD employees work more overtime than any other Austin City department. Last year, officers logged more than 500,000 overtime hours. The fire department had the next highest amount of overtime, followed by EMS and then Austin Energy.
Local celebrity and our Austin favorite, Matthew McConaughey, will be on the Today Show this morning. He's out with a new book called Just Because. It's a children's book that Matthew says he thought up in the middle of the night. Hundreds lined up outside of the Austin bookstore Book People over the weekend to get a signed copy of that new book. The live interview coming up this morning on Today.
I feel like you're always the most creative in the middle of the night.
Right?
And you're just wide awake.
But you have to have the ability to remember it or write it down, because it's like,
Absolutely.
Do you ever wake up and you're like, oh, that is a great idea.
Right, and then
right back to sleep. And then you wake up and you're like, I had a great idea last night, but it's gone.
He was there at Book People, and then he jet off to the game.
Jet off to the game, and then he was at the U.S. Open.
That's
he was at the U.S. Open.
He's been everywhere.
Yeah.
Been everywhere. If you're heading outside today, you got any outdoor plans, you are good to go. We've got some nice weather here in the forecast. Yeah, a little bit rainy in a few spots, but you know what? We're going to take it. We need the rain, and boy, did yesterday feel really nice. 98 degrees was official high temperature, so that is now 2 official consecutive days below 100 degrees as our streak ended. Today will be even cooler than yesterday, and tomorrow will be cooler than today. So we're heading in the right direction here. Love to see that. 79 degrees in Austin. We're sitting at 81 in Georgetown. Cooler conditions up in the hill country where we're seeing a little bit of rain out there. 78 in Giddings, 77 in LaGrange. We've got these complex of thunderstorms out into the western part of the state from San Angelo, just north of Del Rio. You see all the lightning, but in just that last frame here, in the last hour, all that lightning disappears. That is a decaying, weakening thunderstorm. As we kind of zoom in, showing we're dry for us here in the metro and out towards the east. Pretty similar to yesterday. I don't expect this rain to reach us early this morning. Unfortunately, this should kind of stall out and continue to start to dry out, and we're starting to see that kind of that dividing line that it shouldn't really make its way more east past Llano County. San Saba, Llano, seeing that light rain. The heaviest rain right now is over Mason County. A few lightning strikes there as well, up and down 87. Harper seeing some light rain. Fredericksburg, I'm trying to get some rain for you here, but continues to move slowly towards your area. We're hoping to see at least a few raindrops fall from the sky there. This model here shows it kind of weakening and disappearing as it pushes out towards the east. Heading into the afternoon, we're dry under a mostly cloudy sky, becoming mainly sunny. And then for tomorrow, we'll have periods of rain kind of around us with mostly cloudy conditions throughout the day. Heavy rain up towards the north. But this front is going to be inching very close to us that it will be enough to drop the temperatures down pretty significantly for our area. And then it will retreat back northward through Thursday and then head back down towards the south into Friday and Saturday. Really ramping up those rain chances. I think Friday and Saturday we see some of the heaviest rain, and then it gradually tapers off late in the day Saturday and into Sunday. So through the next few days, we don't see that much rain here in Austin. Higher totals out in the hill country, lower rain totals from the metro down towards the south and east. You factor in Friday, Saturday's rain, then everyone wins here, and then we could see maybe up to 1 to 2 inches of rain. This is nice to see. Models are starting to come into better agreement that 90% of this rain all just occurs from Friday and into Saturday morning. So that looks to be the time frame for when we could see the best chance of rain in downtown Austin. Hill Country, though, you have a higher chance of rain to see at least a little bit here and there each and every day. Temperatures through the next few days diving down into the low 90s, and it gets much more comfortable with those rain chances highest from Thursday, Friday, and into Saturday. Well, rescue efforts are underway for people who may be trapped under rubble from the deadly earthquake in Morocco. The death toll is now at 2,600. The 6.8 magnitude quake on Friday was Morocco's deadliest in more than 6 decades. Relief workers face the challenge of reaching the worst affected villages in the High Atlas. That's a rugged mountain range where settlements are often remote and where many houses crumbled.
A manhunt for an escaped killer in Pennsylvania continues 12 days into it. 12 days ago, Danilo Cavalante escaped prison, and police say there have been several confirmed sightings of that inmate. People living in the area about 20 miles north of the prison he escaped from got emergency notifications last night. They said state police received reports that Cavalcante was in the area and that he is possibly armed with a weapon. People were asked to stay inside and lock all the doors, windows, and vehicles. Authorities found his shoes.
If you're a night owl, a new study says that you may have a higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes. The Nurses' Health Study examined data from more than 60,000 nurses. It found that night owls have a 19% increased risk for type 2 diabetes. The study found that people who stay up late are more likely to have unhealthy diets, exercise less, smoke cigarettes, and sleep less. The new research is the latest evidence that shows being a night owl can be hazardous to your health. Previous research found links to obesity and heart disease.
At a time when wells are running dry and much of Central Texas is under some kind of water restriction, over in Bastrop County, a business is trying to expand its water supply by drilling for even more wells.
But as KXAN's Sarah Alshay explains, it's leaving people in the area outraged.
I mean, it's just devastating.
It's something the Watsons thought they'd never see.
It's cracked all the way up.
Water on their ranch in Page drying up, both on the surface and underground.
The shallowest well, which is 440 feet, has dropped 30 feet.
Diane Watson says they started noticing this after landscaping company Thomas Turfgrass moved in next door.
The new Sahara Desert.
Changes like less water in their wells and more runoff water on their land when it's rained.
This is all their sand. When you get a half an inch, it just comes flooding, rushing down all their debris.
Watson says neighbors are now even more concerned after finding out Thomas Turfgrass is asking for permits to drill more wells.
We got a letter saying that they had applied for 3,950 acre feet and 4 wells.
Seth Thomas, one of the owners of the company, says they've recently lowered that request.
We've reduced that request down to 2,200 acre feet. Instead of drilling 4 wells, we're only going to drill 2.
Thomas acknowledges there will be drawdown in other wells, but he says it won't be severe.
It's not to the point to where, it's going to go below to where other people can't still pump their water as well.
Still, Watson worries.
The creeks are not running anymore. The big creek is not running at all.
Because without enough water, she and her neighbors won't be able to support their land.
If our wells go dry, then the only option is to sell the cattle.
Sarah Alshay, KXAN News.
Ultimately, the decision to grant the well permits is in the hands of the Lost Pines Groundwater Conservation District. There is a hearing for this next Wednesday on September 20th regarding the runoff water. Thomas says by late October, they hope to have seeds and oats planted where a lot of the sand is to help prevent more runoff.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
Good morning to you, Longhorns. Well, it's time to turn the page. Wyoming comes into Royal Texas Memorial Stadium on Saturday night. Hard to blame the Horns riding high after the win over then third-ranked Alabama. Longhorns now 4th ranked in the nation, their highest ranking since 2009. After the game, Sark said the first thing he told his team was thanks for trusting he and the coaching staff for the plan. And, well, now that trust really has to kick in as they, again, have to move on from this emotional night.
Starts always from the head man, Coach Sark, just moving forward and realizing that a lot of people are going to stay on this game, but we can't do that as a team. Just knowing that we have a whole season ahead of us.
And it's a blessing just to be in this position right now, but at the end of the day, we're going to get positive energy. We're going to get also negative energy, but we got to block out that noise, and we got to just keep buying in as a team and following Sark's plan.
You can feel a team when they trust you, but part of that trust comes from when you're wrong, you have to admit to them when you're wrong too as a coach. And when you make a mistake, you have to take ownership as well. And so we try to, like I said, be really transparent with the guys on everything that we do and how we do it. And in the end, I think we've gotten to a spot now where when we decide to go run 4 gassers today and tell them why we're doing it, there's no whining or complaining. They just hands behind the line and they go and they get done what they need to get done. So I think that's a real positive.
Yeah, now the Longhorns again, Wyoming on Saturday night. They're 2-0. And then a week from Saturday, Big 12 opener and final Big 12 matchup against Baylor. That's set for a 6:30 start in Waco. Back to you.
Thanks, Roger. For those listening on the KXAN Today podcast, hey, thanks so much for joining us. Here's what else that we're tracking in the 5 a.m. hour of KXAN Today. The new contract for Austin medics as EMS deals with trouble recruiting.
Thanks for joining KXAN News Today. You can also listen to KXAN News Nightly every weekday after 5:30 p.m. for in-depth coverage on what matters most to you.